Hi and welcome back for another CottageCutz YouTube video tutorial and giveaway. Today I'm giving away the Koalas from the Australian Friends release, which is available now over in the Scrap and Cottage. I will have a link to all of the products that I used today in the description box below. In order to qualify for the Koala die, you do need to like the video, leave a comment, and make sure you're a subscriber. I did use the Leafy Background Slimline. This Slimline die measures 8.5 by 3.5 inches when it's cut out. I have the Koalas die, which comes with a mama and a baby. If you want two girls, you would use the flowers. If you wanted to make male koalas, you certainly could leave the flowers off. I'm going to start with a piece of cardstock. This is white accent opaque 110-pound cardstock. It's been cut to 4 by 9 inches. I'll do a little bit of Distress Oxide ink blending with Twisted Citron, Mowed Lawn, Crushed Olive, and Lucky Clover. And again, I'm just adding it randomly around the different areas of this cardstock. When I finish adding the crushed olive, it comes to my attention that I need to intensify some of the Twisted Citron, so I will add a little bit more of that Twisted Citron. I'll add a little bit of water to my background with a clapping motion, which is going to oxidize the ink, and when I finish with that, I will use my Ranger heat tool, and that will dry my panel. While I'm doing that ink blending, let me talk about the winner from my last video. The winner from my last video is DB Designs. I want to congratulate you on the win. In order to claim your prize, please contact Mary Marsh. I will have her email address linked in the description box below. You need to send her an email, let her know that you are the lucky winner chicken dinner from the giveaway for the Kangaroo Die, and she'll make sure that those get sent out to you. All right, so here's where I'm going to dry this panel back, and then I decided that I wanted to add a little bit more shimmer to this. Typically when you use Nuvo Shimmer Powder, ooh, that was a tongue twister, you would add a little bit of water to your panel first. I decided to go ahead and just sprinkle on some of the powder. I'll add some water, a lot of water, and when I do add that water, you can see that it did dry back some of that ink. Not dry back, but it did fade. That's the word I'm looking for. It faded some of my Distress Oxide ink, but I did get that shimmer on the background. My panel is completely soaked, so I will use my Ranger heat tool to dry this back, and then I'm going to add a little bit more of that Distress Oxide color back in to get a little bit more of the intensity from the Mowed Lawn and the Twisted Citron. What that shimmer powder did is not only did it leave those little splatters on my card panel, but it's really difficult to photograph. I did get a lot of shimmer and sparkle on the background, which is what I was looking for. I'm going to add that water back in, and then of course off camera I'll dry it again with my heat tool. And now we're going to die cut this with our Leafy Background Slimline. This Leafy Background Slimline is absolutely gorgeous. Oh my word. For especially, like, I can't wait to use this for a fall card. The leaves are so delicate, so beautiful. I was just really surprised at how much I really loved the look of this die. I've seen other Leafy Background dies that are pretty and are nice, but the delicacy of this die, watch when I clean this off. So I'm going to use my tool-in-one from Spellbinders, and I'm going to use the brush to just kind of go over the back side of this and get any of those loose pieces that are cutting out from in between the leaves. I'll use my reverse tweezers to poke through the holes and get this die out, and look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh man, this is like pure perfection for a leaf die. So now I'm going to move on to my koala bears. Again, I have accent opaque white cardstock. This time I'm using 80-pound cardstock. I am going to color these koala bears, or actually just the mama koala bear for you. And I started with a W5. I went with a very high contrast for this. I'm going to start out by saying that because you're going to see that I really accentuated where the legs, the arms, under the chin, and then the sides of the face are. And I could have blended this out with a W4 and I would have had more of a kind of like a really smooth blend, a seamless blend, but I wanted that really high contrast. I just thought that I would add that to this particular koala bear, and I really liked the way that it turned out. Off camera, I did color the nose with an N9, and then I added some glossy accents to that. For the ears, I used an R22, and then for the eyes, I used my micron pen. For the smaller koala bear, I just used the W3, W1, and I think I brought in a W0 to make that little boy koala bear just a little bit lighter. And again, I was going for a baby shower card that was for a baby boy as opposed to a baby girl. I did leave some white space under the belly for the koala bear. You certainly could color that in with a lighter W0 or a W00 marker if you wanted to, but that's not the look I was going for. I thought that I would just leave it white and really give, again, that contrast. I've cut a piece of cardstock. I have a finished card base that's 3.5 by 8.5 inches. You'll notice I'm not adding any glue to the leaves. I'm basically just adding it around the edges of this die. It has, again, a nice delicate border. I'll align this to my background, and then I'll start working on my sentiment. I did bring in some tall dies, some letter dies for my sentiment, and I'm going to create the word that says baby. So I'll use some Copic markers, and the other half of the paper, I use both the chisel tip and I use the regular coloring tip to add a E37, 35, and I believe a 33. I'll bring my tall dies in, realize that I don't have enough coloring on this, so I'm going to add an E39 across the top, and once I finish with that, then I can cut out my word baby. So I'll turn it around. This is going to give me a little bit of an ombre look. I thought I might add the wood grain embossing folder to the letters, but in the end I just really liked the way that this Copic coloring turned out for the letters. This is obviously the easiest way to color this as opposed to trying to color each of the letters separately, and you'll see just how nice of a contrast this is with the green. So I'll get these all off. I did, of course, glue 3 of them together because I do like to add dimension to my letters. So I just cut 2 more from white cardstock, and then I glued it to the back of my alphas. I'm going to put my koala bears on the tree, decide where I want it placed. I did stamp out using some sentiment dies from my stash the words congrats on your, and then it's going to say baby. So I'll use my T-square ruler to try to line this up. I do add some foam tape to the back of my sentiment that says congrats on your, and when I finish this off camera, I realize that I still want the word new. So I want it to say congrats on your new baby. So all I did was mask off an area of a stamp that had the word new on it, and then I cut it out and added it to the top right above where the word baby is. I'm going to use the art glitter glue. I added it to the back of that congrats on your, and as I mentioned, I did add foam tape to the back of that. I'm going to glue my koala bear down, and then I'll finish off with the word baby, and that will complete my card for today. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, make sure you like the video and subscribe. That way you're entered into the giveaway for this wonderful koala die. Thanks so much for joining me today, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.